Oh, weather in Pune is very good. It's not as cold as it should be, but still, not bad. My first season here, so enjoying it. Yeah.
First, you're talking like 100% athlete or first season in sports.
Yeah, last 6 years in Pune has made me an athlete. Weather is the first thing that you look for, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I definitely remember my lovely time in Pune, almost comparable weather to Bangalore. It's just that the Bangalore is all the 12 months you can take the weather for granted. Pune maybe a little bit lesser,
Yeah.
right? But otherwise, it's such a lovely place.
Right.
All right. Satya, we are here to have some free-flowing conversation. I'm pretty excited to talk to you because dating back in 2017,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, we had our first interaction. So let me try to recollect the sequence of things. Okay. So you called me and you said you were looking for a coach and you wanted to run the Comrades Marathon.
Yeah.
And then I think we had a small interaction at that time, and I said that, when do you want to do that? It's like coming June. All right, fantastic. What's your full marathon time? And then he said, no, I've never done a full marathon. So it was kind of a bit surprised, and then I pushed you back, and I said, oh no, I'm not the right coach for you.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it was a very interesting engagement. You came back and you pushed me to my limits as a coach and said that nothing doing, I'm going to run my first full marathon in January, then train for the Comrades Marathon. Can you be my coach? Right? So I think when I look back, I really cherish that moment and also the opportunity that you gave me to kind of fine tune my own coaching skills, because when I started coaching athletes, and especially when we talk about Comrades Marathon, which is like considered to be one of the oldest and also toughest, there's always this what do you call certain standards that you expect as a coach. They want the athlete to be ready physically. They've got a specific training age. When we talk about training age, it's all about multiple years of running, because ultramarathon is scientifically, that's what it is, right? So you want somebody to have run multiple years, spend time on feet. There is a physical, physiological, mental adaptation that happens before somebody is ready for an ultramarathon. But you came and challenged me, said that, hey, I'm not even run the first full marathon, but I want to run the Comrades. But it was pretty interesting journey. And then I also remember how beautifully you trained, how sincerely you train, how dedicatedly you put all your time. And every workout session, I would see a green tick mark from you. You were so sincere. And then you also went and ran your first Comrades Marathon in 10 hours and 35 minutes. I'm right?
Yeah, 10:40.
10:40. It was like incredible, right? So the athlete in making, I knew that there was something that was cooking at that time as a ultra runner. So now, this is how our encounter started. Okay. Now you're here kind of a few years later, it's 5 years later, as somebody who has achieved in terms of an athletic standard or marathon and ultra marathon standards, certain beautiful milestones. So for example, you ran your first sub 3:30 marathon in Chennai. That's very special, right? So the star in Chennai is really, really important. And also you ran your sub 9 hours Bill Rowen in Comrades Marathon. It's like really amazing. It's a very enviable feat, and then really congratulate, really appreciate you as an athlete or as a person who really want to achieve something. Now, just take us back in time during your teenage years. What kind of person were you? That's my first question to you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Kay. Thanks, first of all, for having me in a forum like this. We interact all the time, but to be talking in a forum like this, I'm very, thank you for doing that. Now, going back to my teenage, one thing that I did all the time was played sports. I was associated with some sort of sports all the time, before I got into the corporate world, and then everything changed. But I I grew up playing a lot of tennis, hockey, of course, cricket. So, and every time when I was watching the Pete Sampras's of the world and the, the Andre Agassis and the Steffi Grafs, I could, I could make that connection that one day, I want to associate or keep associating myself with some sport, And today, if not the 4 Grand Slams, for sure, the Comrades and the OOTYULTRAs and the top 5 marathons in the world, or 6 majors rather. That's where I can very much relate myself to. So yes, that's how I've grown up. Making a lot of connection, and I do that even today, right? I mean, every time I'm watching, whether it is football, whether it is cricket, or whether it is any type of sports, I do relate. I connect with sport very well, is what I can say. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're actually creating a Grand Slam in your own terms, right? So I think that's really incredible. That's the beauty of running, and the way it started throwing opportunities after opportunities after opportunities for all of us who are part of this journey, right? So you suddenly feel that middle-age crisis hits all of us, responsibilities in terms of managing the family, and also take care of your, let's say, business, or even, you're a corporate, in a corporate world, you play a leadership role, and then all the responsibilities, and suddenly we think that, hey, what happened all the childhood days we used to enjoy, we used to play, we used to climb trees and jump and hop, roads and streets. And so suddenly we are choked with all these responsibilities, and there's no opportunity and avenue for you to do something. Yeah. But I also know that certain people pick up certain company of people, either with drinking, smoking, or partying. But that's one option. But also traveling, exploring, going on hikes. But nowadays, if you see, sports is playing a very, very important role in all of our lives, because these opportunities are there everywhere. You just walk into Decathlon store, you know exactly how many sports have been played by people. So much opportunities. But again, whoever is making use of that are seeing a different side of themselves. It's a beautiful discovery that we all made into running, and running is so beautiful. I fell in love with it back in 2011, and then my journey also transformed, right? So from a corporate, kind of playing some kind of a management role, and then suddenly you're out there in the market, coaching and teaching sports and running, and it's so beautiful. And then that also gave me opportunity to meet people like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, from that Satyashil to this Satyashil, and I'm sure you must have gone through ups and downs, like all of us, right? So kind of hardship we all play. Was there any low point in your life which you would like to recollect, or you don't want to recollect? It's absolutely fine with me.
Yeah.
You want to recollect and tell me what has changed from that to where you are right now.
In terms of running, OOTYULTRA and Comrades are the closest to my heart. And so in terms of running, the low point I would say was when into 2019, when I barely almost walked to the finish line of both of these events. OOTYULTRA 8 hour 33 minutes, and then Comrades 11 hour 25 minutes. That was my back to back, and I had shin splints, but the only way I was training is going out, running, long distance, and then taking rest for 3 weeks, and then that's the pattern I was following after my qualification. And you've been part of it, right? 2018 when I trained for it, you were there when we did a self-supported run. Of course, Ooty started for me, Balaji. There's so much of connection with that, right? And then 2019 also, when I remember even for the year card run, although you had come all the way to support even then. So yeah, I think that was the time which was very, very low, and I needed all the people around me. Of course, the biggest strength has been my family, how everybody supports me in this passion of mine. That's been incredible. But yeah, that was a moment when I would have given up, but no, I did not. So I just kept going. So yeah.
You put it so simply, you know. I distinctly remember those kind of difficult times, right? So I think injury is the most dreaded thing. People don't understand that unless you are a victim for an injury, right? So especially when it comes to running, it's you know, that's what some of the sports scientists or coaches, or also from my own experience, talk to people and say that 95% of the runners are injured. The 5% of them lie about their injury. So that means eventually everybody is hurt one way, right? Because it's a very repetitive sport. But the positive side of what the sport can do to us is what is driving us, right? So what has driven you to come to this extent, and then even think about certain avenues, or you know, think about places where you've never traveled.
Right.
Okay, so for example, doing a 3:28 kind of a marathon in Chennai is, you know, especially for somebody who started running in Chennai with some 4 hours plus kind of a time. It is time is just one factor, but you know, that the human performance element of how much you can push physically and mostly mentally. I think you had mastered that over a period of time. And to talk about some of your skills that I have seen, you would take this walk breaks very seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is something that we always talk about in an ultra run. In an ultra marathon, it's not all about running. A marathon is not all about running. Even a half marathon is not about running. There is a way you can master the art of moving continuously. That's going to take you to the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And then I have seen you kind of mastering that every time. You would even walk at the pace of 8 and 8:30 in some of the, let's say, difficult terrains. I think that attitude of you to kind of crack that was always existed, right? So you kept pushing yourself to test and train, and you know, this is really amazing. Now the kind of learning that you have gone through, were you able to take this learning into your professional life? You know, can you talk about how you were able to integrate the learning from the ultra marathon world of running and sports into your professional life?
Yeah.
And by the way, you're now vice president at BNY Mellon. Also talk about that, because I'm sure it's always a challenge for a lot of people to balance their life. You know, work is work, business, family commitments. You know, sometimes even ailing parents or somebody is sick at home.
Yeah.
You can completely lost in the world and then give up.
Yeah.
Right? How are you able to balance all these things? So 2 questions. One is, what are these learnings? Now, how do you take them into your business life or the professional life? And then how are you balancing all those things?
Yeah. So I'll start with the first one first. It definitely has helped me, right? I mean, one of the biggest learning has been the discipline, you know, that you bring. You know, that's something that rubs in, the zest, the energy that you bring. You know, it's just amazing how you are able to, even though running looks like an individual sport, but it's just not individual, right? You do so much of this, so much of work that goes behind as a team, like I mentioned about family. Similarly, our co-runners, and I cannot thank the world enough for having run with the people that I have run with in Chennai, Mukesh, Balaji, Lango, I mean, Edwin, Sridhar, Sandhya, and everybody, you know. And now, I mean, equally fortunate to have the company that I have in Pune, you know, Shishir, Vivek, everybody, you know, everybody that I run with. So it's just amazing. So that definitely comes into that seen in your work as well, right? The amount of teamwork that you're able to bring in, the positivity that you're able to bring in. That's one side of what you're able to apply. What I also, for me, that worked personally very, very well is I am able to network a lot better now, you know. I'll tell you, in my earlier days in the corporate life, I was very limited to very few, you know, the very few of those English songs, and just after that, I would run out of topics to talk about. And and now here, you know, there is so much to talk about, you know.
Your stories are minimum 90 kilometers long.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think it has helped me in a great sense in networking as well. So that's something that is there. In terms
All
of
right. So,
balance, yeah.
yeah,
So
go ahead.
in terms of creating that balance, last 18 months has been phenomenal in that. I underwent a lot. After coming out of the injury, I sat down with Mukesh and the Chennai gang, and I said that, hey guys, I have to run a good full marathon. And so it started then, and we underwent an aggressive plan, kept running, with a lot of discipline. And then I was in between jobs, so I changed my job in between, moving cities from Chennai to Pune. Then when I moved to Pune, my dad underwent a major couple of surgeries, so prolonged illness, so that, and then comrades and running, fast. But I think one thing that's been constant all the time is the support, both from the family as well as the running group, uh, and then the discipline. So what I definitely did not do in the last 18 months is to say no, I won't do it. I had that objective, the goal in front of me, and I just wanted to stick to it. So that,
Beautiful.
I think, that's kept me going all the time.
So family, support of friends, and
Yeah.
self-discipline, right? These are the three factors that seem to be working magic in your own life. But I think the most important factor is you as a person, right? Because even though if you say that, hey, friends have helped me, I know the ultimately it is your own self-worth, how you approached your low points in the last few years that can kind of shatter and devastate people, and then even we resort to quitting, right? But you never quit. You kept exploring, you kept wanting to do something to yourself. Sometimes retreating or taking a step back doesn't mean it's a failure,
Right.
right? Many times that's what people tend to think. I've gone through these kind of an experiences in my own life. Taking a step back doesn't mean that you are going to slow down and you're not going to achieve your victory, right? If you really see, it's a personal journey which is going to have. It's like the stock market, which is seen. You have this five lifetime view.
Yeah.
Where you see the graph looks okay. There is a growth there, but when you actually go down to, let's say, 1 year, 5 year, 1 year, 3 year, 1 month, few days, you will see all these ups and downs, right? So now, how do you balance all these things? It's really critical. So now, uh, Ooty Ultra was literally created for you.
I, I
Okay, so
proud of that. Okay, so
exactly.
that.
So it's so amazing, right? Because for me, I trained in Ooty when I kind of wanted to run the Comrades marathon back in 2014. So 2013, I had this crazy idea of doing. But then I went to Ooty to train. Even though I'm born and brought up in Ooty, never even thought in my life that I would run those mountains. But then suddenly, Comrades marathon looked like a big monster, because what you read on the internet is only sad stories, only failure stories. Okay, not many people who write about, oh, I went to Comrades, it was so easy. Yeah, it's like a cakewalk, and I trained just 2 months, and very rarely you'll find these kind of stories or Twitter kind of stories for success stories, right? But you always see the longer the pain, the longer the suffering, the longer the blogs were.
Yeah.
Okay. So now for me, I went through certain experience, and I want to give that. How can you be a little more humble? How can you feel that, hey, I can approach this race so easily? So that's why I went and trained in Ooty, and I wanted to take you guys there. But then 2018, when we decided to do the long run, 60K in Ooty, but that's when the concept of Ooty Ultra evolved. And then I'm so happy that you came, ran, with a bunch of friends, and I think you were there, Ilango was there, and also Balaji. We also had Ajay. So it was so beautiful. That experience itself so beautiful. Now we are like sixth edition. the event is growing up, and I should say that this year we actually 100 days to go for the 6th edition. The number of participants already have registered is at least 2 times more than what the numbers that I saw in 2020. Okay, so there's a lot more excitement for people to come and try. So now the first time when you ran the Ooty Ultra, you said that you had to walk the last few kilometers, but still you kind of finished within that 9 hours cutoff, 9 hours mark, even though even cutoff was 10.5 hours. But then last year, 2022, when you ran the Ooty Ultra, you did in 7 hours and something.
Yeah.
So what has changed in your attitude to run, and then what exactly would you like to tell people who are going to be running the Ooty Ultra for the first time, who just completed a marathon, but there's also slightly a misconception that, okay, I've done a marathon 4.5 hours, Ooty is 60K, so let me put another 3 hours, 7.5 hours, I'll finish. It's not like that. So how did you approach running this kind of distances? What's your message for those folks who are actually coming there for the first time?
Right. So people who are coming there for the first time, I would say, do not take it easy. Do not. It's not done until it is done. It is Ooty that you're going for. But enjoy the course. It is a different kind of challenge. There's nothing to get intimidated about. It is definitely not. The advantage I had was that I've done it a couple of times. So this time I really knew how to go about it, how to approach it. One of the other things that worked also for me this time, I would say, is because I moved to Pune, and there is enough
significant amount of hills there.
Yeah, you can do a lot of that. So that's definitely something that has helped. But again, I mean, I wouldn't say that if you're in Chennai, you cannot run Ooty in 7 hours 17 minutes. If I can, everybody can. I just need to keep that discipline on. That's always the key. I will tell you, this year in the last 12 months or so, I've done over 4,000 kilometers of running, and very consistent, very focused. The time when I peak there, and in this 4,000 kilometers of running, there's also a month which is about 100 kilometers, because which was just after the Comrades. I wanted to take that break, just be in that recovery mode, and so it is all about setting that objective and working towards it, understanding what will it take for you to go there and be successful. So that's
I just want to say one thing. When you said that you've done 4,000 kilometers, and I just remember this warning that you see in all the stunts. They say that these stunts are performed by trained professionals. Do not try this at home. Okay, so certainly 4,000 is a large volume of running, and it's certainly not for anybody who is a beginner, right? So as a coach, I can confidently say that ultra running is a multi-year project. Even if you really see the concepts that we kind of inspired especially in the fitness world, and we are talking about youth fitness specifically. So the concepts of LTAD, the Lifetime Athletic Development, which was originally created and pioneered in Canada, that's the model which is followed across all the US and also the Western world. And then also the same model is readopted in other countries like Australia. So it's a lifetime athletic development. Okay, it's not that, okay, at the age of 35, like the way I did, okay, I'm going to become an athlete, from now onwards. And then you say, okay, I want to run a half marathon, I want to run a full marathon. The next day I want to run a, let's say, ultra marathon. So it's not that easy. The body doesn't understand these shocks, right? So you have come a long way in 5 years of journey, going ups and downs. If I have to use this as an example for a beginner, so my message is have a lot of patience, because ultra running is all about holding back, right? Running Comrades marathon is 90 kilometers, Ooty is 60. Any ultra marathon, it's a long journey.
Right.
And you need to hold back. You need to have a lot of patience.
Right.
So if one single day you're going to exercise a lot of patience, why not for the lifelong, right? And I think that's something that I have learned personally, to have a lot of patience in approaching. So now, This year, Comrades Marathon, you went there. You know, this was the third time.
Yes.
This was the third time you're going. You kept going, right? So you promised me that, oh, I want to do an up and down, and then you kept going. Then you did an incredible 8:58, 8:59, which is like a very significant milestone Comrade standards, right? So now, what happened during the day? Because Comrades Marathon is just most dreaded by people. Even slow runner, fast runners, everybody suffers there. Okay,
Yeah.
you're not spared. It's just that whether you're suffering for 6 hours, 7 hours, or you're suffering for 12 hours, and that's the only difference. And also, I personally have great respect for those who are the slow
Yeah.
runners because their suffering is
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was different for you, Satyashil?
I think the energy, the positivity around. I had a lot of people from Chennai, Pune, Mumbai, whom I know. They were running along. Last few days before I went, I ran with my group in Pune. I'll tell you, okay, they're much faster. Easily 20 seconds faster than what I run. Even the fastest mile that I run, the 20-30 seconds, they always slow down for me. They support me. So 1 week before I went, Shishir and I were running together, and we
Shishir,
did. Shishir, no, Shishir Srivastav. He's a co-runner from Pune, so I run along with him. So we did we did easy 900 meters and 100-meter surges, and I was like, okay, let's. I was doing it for the first time, 100-meter surge, and then that, trust me, that helped in the end, because I was able to put my foot inside the door at the 8-hour 59th minute, and was running for my life at that time. In the stadium, I still did not know whether I'm going to make it in the 9 hours, and the learning from the surges was what I applied on that day. But overall, also the day was good. I until 45th kilometer, I knew I was going well. Then from 45th to 40 to 72, I did not know. I thought even 9:30 looked difficult, and was I didn't think I'll be able to make it in 9:30 also. And after 72, when you go down, is when I picked up again, and then you just take you just last 10 miles to go, and so you just do you if you like you said, if you have conserved your energy, you can really bring that to use in the last 10-12 kilometers. So yeah.
brilliant. I think you had a master plan. You executed it very well. All
Thanks.
the years of running and experience made you much more, I would say, the wiser athlete. And this is really incredible, Satya. So there are a few changes that are going to, it's also for those who have joined us, but also encourage them to ask questions. If anybody has questions to Satya, please type it as a comment, and then I will be happy to ask him. So OOTYULTRA this year is the 6th edition. It's happening on the 2nd of April, 100 days to go. So there are a couple of changes. So we're going to start from the Tamil Nadu Tourism Boathouse this time. Okay, it's not going to be at the YWCA. We've had a grand support from YWCA in the past editions. So this year, Tamil Nadu Tourism has accepted a request, and then they have come on board as a partner. So they recognize this event as a tourism event now. Because you see a lot of people who come there, 95%, or maybe slightly more than that, they're all tourists from outside Nilgiris. But I hope to see these numbers changing. That we also want the local to participate more. And so the starting point is going to be at the boathouse. So we're going to touch the botanical garden, touch the Dorabada Peak, and also the finish line for the 15K is going to be at the Tea Park, right? So now you have seen this route from the first year. So which is the most interesting section for you to run? And tell me why it is so interesting.
I would say last 10 kilometers, last 10 kilometers for two reasons. You need to bring out everything that you have in you to run those last kilometers, but you also know you're gonna finish a significant race when you are done with those 10 kilometers. So it teaches you to endure pain. It does teaches you a lot, and I can tell you, it is a tried and trusted formula for me. It is a perfect recipe for anybody running Comrades. So it just sets you up for that. So I think to me, last 10, I like the part of after 30 as well, because it
Yes.
just changed, refreshed, and then now you're going. So you start easy and you feel like,
There's
okay,
a cruise, right? So downhill, there's a little rolling hill, and then until you
just when,
come to that.
just when you feel that, okay, you're very good, feeling really, really good, and you're done, is when you realize, no, the race has not even started yet. So,
Yeah, the race actually starts from the Gurukul school, right? So where that. Oh, you know what? I wanna share a very interesting anecdote, right? So the Ooty Ultra this year, 2022 happened, and then the Monday I wanted to go and clean all the banners, right? So we kind of install banner every 2 kilometers, and I want all the route marks and warning signs. So I wanted to go and do that, and then my daughter was so exhausted, actually supporting the, kind of, she was taking care of the hospitality part at the finish line. So she said that, okay, even I want to come and see the route, and I want to help you. And then while driving, she said that, oh, you know what? Then we were chatting about, okay, how was your experience? I said that I felt so overwhelmed, because all the 60K runners, when they came to the finish line, I could see that they are tired, but they are happy at the same time. They're upset about, the gradient and the punishment that they had to go through, but at the same time, they were smiling. They were very cheerful to receive the medal, the personalized medal, and then they were actually looking for you to have an interaction. Some of them were very angry, to even to the extent of murdering you for designing a course like that. But I somehow feel that I wanted to understand what the 60K course is. Now, can you just take me through that? So we went cleaning all the banners. So I was climbing this, the last 10K section, and stopped for a little break, and then we were taking some pictures. She was also removing the banner. She came to me, she looked at me and said that, um, I don't know, I've never seen the cruel side of you. Why are you so sad as now? How can you make people run this and also put a cutoff time there? She looked at my face and, right here, and then she said that. I said, yeah, welcome. That's what Ooty Ultra is all about, right? So it's the pain, the suffering, the challenges that you go through. As you rightly said, the race starts at the 50 kilometers. But that's what makes you, defines you as an ultra runner, as a person, better than your own version, right? For somebody trying it for the first time, it's brutal. They think that, oh, okay, this course is not flat. It's not easy. It's difficult. But when you finish, when you achieve, it's superb, right?
yeah.
So now, that's the journey that we all go through. And now, last year, 90K was introduced, and I've got, basically it's an application basis only. So I wanted to bring some of the fast runners in terms of the standards, elite runners, ultra runners to Ooty, also give them a kick, right? Because somebody who's pretty fast can finish Ooty Ultra, the fastest 60K runner is about 6 hours, 15 minutes. Oh, okay. There are many runners on the course, and this guy is finished 6:15. How can I keep him busy, right? So that's why the 90K came into picture. And then 90K also had a qualification standard. If somebody can finish 60K in sub 8 hours and 15 minutes, are kind of ready to attempt the 90K. Now, I have two questions to you. One is, you have qualified to run the 90K, but you also said that, hey, I'm not going to do 90K, I'm going to do only 60K. I want to know the reason. You gave me some reason, I didn't want to accept that. I want to see you crack in the 90K there. The second thing is, if somebody has run the Comrades, I mentally have put a picture that if you can run the Comrades in about 11 hours or sub 11 hours, then you can probably touch and go attempt Ooty Ultra on 90K. Okay. So what's your response to these two questions?
Definitely. See, couple of things, right? So one, this year, May I turned 45. Okay. So I am also going to take a stab at, after the Comrades, I'm going to take a serious stab at Boston this year. So
you're going to the Comrades again?
I am, yes, I have.
Right.
So that's one. And I feel running 60 kilometer in Ooty is, I find that to be a very appropriate distance and training for Comrades. That's my reason. Definitely, one thing I want to at some point do is to run a 90-kilometer OT. Yeah. Uh, it is going to be insane of me to say at this point that if I come this when I come this time to OT, I'm going to try and attempt it in sub 7 hours. But it's but if if I can put myself through that challenge, and if I can get it done in under 7 hours, I'll be very, very happy. And
Under
so
760K.
yes, under seven.
Okay, got it. I was thinking about 90K and then.
No. 7 hours would be
Okay. All right.
so
Okay, that's beautiful. So that's your goal now, 60K in under 7 hours. Oh, that's really a tall goal to have. And then good luck. I'm sure the way you're approaching this, and I'm sure you'll be able to do that, Satyashil. Now, second part of the question is, somebody who's done Comrades in say 11 hours, do you think they have a better chance of finishing the 90K in OT? So just so that you're aware that OT 90K is about 2,500 meters of elevation. It's almost equal amount of elevation drop. Okay.
Right.
And then the 10K is at 15 kilometer. Okay. And then you have this 80 to 85 to let's say the 80 to 90K is another 10K of uphill.
Right. So I mean, this is only me, right? I feel if you are comfortably finishing your Comrades in about 10-hour 30 to 11-hour marks, it'll be a touch and go. It's not a guarantee that you will still finish your is what I feel, but it also depends on that particular day, how you approach it, how you train for it. It's definitely not.
It's unachievable. If you actually see Preeti Lala, the way she ran the OOTY Ultra 90K, so consistent runner. She's not like the fast 7 hours, 8 hours kind of runner, right? But I love the consistency. The attitude is so beautiful. Every time you would see her interact her, she's smiling. And then she's probably I can say that she's the only woman ultra runner who has finished the 90K. And in fact, OOTY Ultra has another very distinct record of the fastest woman runner to finish is again a woman athlete, right? So the first edition of OOTY Ultra. So it's so beautiful, right? They also say that women are much more patient when it comes to approaching ultras, and they're quite strong. And I'm sure a lot of learning for all of us to take. So it's not about the speed. It's not about kind of your strategy is definitely important, but how steady you are and how you're approaching your hills, how you're approaching downhill. Do you go burnout or do you kind of conserve energy? Like somebody has asked a question, Shruti Naik says, how do you compare the difficulty levels between Comrades and OOTY Ultra? So let's talk about that. And then also, what is how do you put the strategic walk breaks during the run? Okay. So can you answer these two questions?
Sure. Definitely. The first one about, how do I compare OOTY Ultra 60K versus Comrades 90K? In terms of, I feel OOTY is tougher, but in terms of stimulation, because it is tough to the right level is what I would say. It is and the timing of it also, right? Because you're running it in April, and then you have a couple of months to reflect back and to devise your strategy. It is more challenging because of the elevation that you have overall in the 60 kilometers that you run, which is in Comrades is a bit more spread. Good thing about OOTY is it works for you both for down and up run. That's where it's not just for if I'm doing an up run, I should go to OOTY. If I'm doing a down run, I should not, or the other way around. It's not that. So it sets you up for both up and down, because the course undulates. It presents. It's kind of it helps you if you want to. It sets you up for pace if you want to run fast in few kilometers. It also tests you on the hills. That's another thing. And yes, you got to have your own strategy. There are two ways. The first time when I was doing my run walk, I was very clear. Every 4th kilometer, 100, 200 meters, I'm going to walk right from the start. That's how I approach my full marathon. That's how I approach all my events. But then as as you do it a few more times, you get a bit more, you always look to change your strategy or improvise on your strategy, if I may say. Because I know the course of both Ooty and the Comrades now, having done both of it 3 times, I don't walk every 4 kilometers or so. On the hill, I might do a walk, a slow jog, and then, you know, but the idea is to keep moving. That's the first thing that Balaji taught me, that just as an ultra runner, do not stop, keep moving all the time. Even if you are walking slow is fine, but just keep moving. So it really depends. And plus, you also need to understand how much more is left, right? You cannot be done in the 30 kilometers, half the race. You cannot go all out in the first 30 kilometers, but you cannot be as slow that you're not going to finish it within the cutoff. So you got to be able to create that balance, and what you do here, what you simulate here, should become your race strategy for Comrades or any other race that you run. That's what I would say. I would say a 10 seconds, 20 seconds slower, probably Ooty, because of the last 10K, I would say. But if you're able to do that with with a good balance of run walk, then I think you should be able to
Yeah.
yeah, be able to do well.
See, and I'm sure everybody has a different take on these mountains, right? So when you run, when you're aspiring for a mountain run, and then you're simulating that run in another mountain, these two different. There's no comparison. Absolutely, there's no comparison. First of all, Comrades, we see Peter Marisburg is not as, altitude wise, it's not as high as Ooty, right? So Ooty is about, we are talking about 2,200 meters. But the Comrades is it's kind of much lesser, right? So it's only about 1,000 meters. So it's completely different, but the total elevation gain and loss is what we are talking about. I mean, comparing Comrades Marathon versus OOTYULTRA. So the total elevation gain or loss is much more in OOTYULTRA, but almost similar, comparable, but for a distance of 60 kilometers versus for a distance of 90 kilometers.
Yeah.
My advice to first timers, first time to Comrades, first time to OOTYULTRA, is use OOTYULTRA to understand how things work in mountains, because you have a lot of things to master, right? Ultra marathon is not just about running.
Yeah.
It's about your fuel, your hydration, your recovery, your mental conditioning, because only 60 to 70%, or maybe as a beginner, then as you master, it's about 60% is your mental work, only 40% is physical, right? How you approach, how you can kind of manage and familiarize yourself with those intensities and difficulties. Now, how much, so the pain is, if you really understand pain is the same, which is felt by an athlete or a non-athlete.
Yeah.
What is different is how you manage the pain. Okay,
Right.
how you manage the pain is different, right? So now, if you say your Satyashil is doing that intense run, then I can understand that he is also going through the same pain. It's just that he is smartly managing it. Okay, so my take and my advice to first timers who are coming to Ooty is just come and enjoy. Don't come with this hard set time target. Yes, of course, you have to finish within the cutoff. You want that personalized medal. That's the fancy aspect of running. But purely for the joy of running, just come there and experience. Run whenever you can and walk whenever you cannot run. So that's the strategy, right? So don't burn out. You can use your heart rate monitor as a guidance to measure your effort, and also breathing rate as a guideline. If you say it's getting harder, just walk, right? And then walk right from the beginning. Now, it's not that, okay, you walk only when you're dead tired. Okay, so that's how it is going to be in terms of the strategy, right? And then there's one more question. How early should you arrive to get acclimatized? Would it make sense to come there early and do a few runs? I'm assuming Manish is asking this question about Ooty. Now, you don't need an acclimation. It's only 2,200 meters. It's not really a high altitude course. But if you're just coming one day before, you'll be perfectly fine. Or if you want to really work on that altitude, you have to travel there at least a week before, which is practically not possible for many people.
And Also,
All right.
it's, I feel, right? If you're there the Thursday before the race, I think that's good enough.
It's good enough. Yeah, just go and feel,
As
and
well,
then
it's
go around maybe
very
a
different.
couple of runs here and there, walk here and there.
So yeah. Get to feel the place. That's good enough. And weather-wise, I think it only gets better, right? In June. So having
See, April weather is another thing, right? So if you really see Ooty gets to the lowest weather, the lowest temperature I've seen the first week of April is about 12 degrees or 14 degrees.
yeah.
Once you start running the first K, you're like already start the sweat start breaking out, and then you're perfectly fine, right? But Peter Marisburg the other way. You've not done the Peter
I have,
Marisburg run, right?
I have.
You did the down, no, the uphill. Wait, which one was this?
Yeah, I've done both.
You did the both, okay. So Peter Marisburg can get in the month of May, June. It goes as low as like 4 or 5 degrees.
Yeah,
But I don't know the timing of June. I don't know how the weather is going to be, but it's kind of comparable. So Satya, we're almost at the fag end of this conversation. It's pretty amazing. You know, as if you're sitting next to me and chatting, and I know as runners, our conversations are not less than 90 kilometers. So this can go on. I'm really happy to have you here. I just wanted to understand what's your plan in the coming years. I know that you want to go back to Comrades, you want to come back and do the OOTYULTRA in sub 7 hours. These are some of the short-term goals. Where do you see Satya as an ultra runner 10 years from now? Or is it too far to even think about?
I think I mean 10 years is a very large horizon, but I want to keep going back to South Africa. I want to keep running Comrades as many times as I can. It has helped me rediscover myself. So definitely want to keep doing that as many times as I can. A few other goals, like I said, I'm definitely going to take a stab at qualifying for Boston. That's one thing that I have. Would want to come and run 90K Ooty as well.
Yeah, love to see you there. Love to see you there.
And
there's one question. Yeah.
sorry, as an ultra runner, I definitely do not want to run a 100-miler sometimes.
Okay.
These are few things that I have in mind.
So it looks like your passion is right now revolving around road races, right? So that's why I'm lucky to have you all the time coming there. So trail is completely a different experience, and yeah, it's a lot of unpredictable things happen there. What's the typical distance between 8 stations? Of course, it's in Ooty. I'm assuming it's about 3 to 4 kilometers. So don't worry. There's a lot of information already published on the website, so please go through that. You'll be pampered a lot. Okay, so not to worry about OOTYULTRA. All right, Satya, now let's, one for last question. I'm sure you mentioned about your wife has been an instrument of support for you to have achieved and accomplished, and then kind of, there always, the family plays a crucial role, right? So, and I'm sure you also fondly talk a lot about your daughter and what she's doing. And is there anything that they don't know about you want to tell me?
There are no secrets. You know, the OTP of every run that I register for goes to her. So there is there is absolutely.
Oh my goodness, the financial ministry is held by Baby. Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. This is amazing, Satya. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm really happy that we kickstarted this OOTYULTRA campaign, and I'm sure I'm also want to talk to more and more inspiring athletes like you in the coming weeks, and hope to kind of put together a better event, the experience for everybody, what I call as the Ultramalaivasi experience for every runner, right? And of course, the OOTYULTRA medal is something that, and I'm sure a lot of runners, anybody who is new to OOTYULTRA, so here is the 60K medal. So the gold plated, and of course, Satya, you haven't seen this, not sure if I've seen this, the copper medal for the 90K with the name laser cut. So the medals will be made as a norm 1 month before the event for the runners to come and experience. Because the hope is that everybody is going to finish within the cutoff. Okay, so this is the 30K, and then of course the 15K medal is the first year everybody got this medal.
yes,
If you remember,
I have
black one, and then of course it is changing now. Satya, wish you all the best, and I'm really happy and proud about your accomplishments. And I would love to see you scaling better and better as an athlete, as a person, and continue to inspire a large community of people. Right? It's really important, and I think that's a great opportunity that everybody has. Doesn't mean that you need to be a fast runner to inspire people. You just run, you complete, you stay up to your health and wellness goals, you stay positive, right? And then when you run, you're a happier person. So you're not snappy. You kind of learn how to control your emotions and also integrate the best part of the life into your own life. Because I somehow feel that ultra runners are extremely selfish, when it comes to their own goals. But at the same time, if there is a fine balance between those goals and also how you take care of your family members, I think there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
You can continue to inspire your family, and I'm sure daughter, wife, and then a large community of people. Thank you very much. Goodbye, and I will see you soon, Satya.
Thanks, K. It was a privilege.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Take care. Have a nice evening. All right, folks, we are at the end of this first Ultramalaivasi Instagram live session. So I hope to bring you more and more runners, more and more inspiring folks. And in fact, you've also signed an associate sponsorship with Foodstrong. So Foodstrong is going to come on board. So we'll see more nutrition-related conversation happening in the coming weeks. And I'm sure that's also beneficial for all the runners. All right, good night, and talk to you guys. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Shubham. I just saw your note. Thank you very much.